Hi there, welcome to Burning Waters of the Moon Tarot. My name is Desiree, and in this video I am doing a tarot reading for Virgo. This series I am using the Black Tarot by Arthur Wang. This is the Tarot of the Abyss by Tourian, and this is Work Your Light Oracle deck by Campbel. So I've already smudged the decks, and I am using some lavender over here in the corner. So lavender doesn't burn as long as like an incense, but you'll see me reaching over here to put a little bit more on the coal. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, Virgo, if for any reason this reading is not resonating with you, it's not fitting your current situation, I urge you to try your moon sign or your rising sign. You can also try your sidereal placements. And one thing that I have been suggesting, and I think might work a little bit better sometimes, is to scroll through the videos and see if there's a spread or a title that catches your eye. And sometimes we need that. We need our intuition to find something for us. We need our instincts to guide us. So you can try that. All right. I'm going to do one more split. And then always a shuffle at the end. Okay, Virgo, let's see what's going on with you. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords, air energy. Then we have the Five of Cups, water energy. And the Queen of Cups, water of water. Okay, so there's something definitely going on with possibly a relationship, a situation in which you are emotionally invested. You have, you know, the Five of Cups here is sadness, loss, just very, you know, a loss of a relationship, a loss of a situation that is breaking your heart, that it really hits home. And it might not be a complete loss, but at the moment, you know, you're experiencing the feeling of the loss, and it has your heart in a situation where it's sad, it's crying, it's longing for that person, for that relationship, for that energy. Then we have the Queen of Cups here, and she's water of water. So she is very intuitive, very understanding. She knows what's going on. She's, and I do see that while your heart is broken, I feel like you might be in a good emotional state about this. I think you're understanding of what's going on. And however, we've got this Eight of Swords over here, and this is like the self-victimization card. So these two are kind of in contrast of one another because of what's going on here, this card in the middle. This is that self-victimization card, right? And this is kind of where we make monsters in our own head. We're kind of going through that mental tornado where things are just, you know, ruminating, and we're making things into a bigger situation than they actually are. This is a lot of air energy, self-inflicted turmoil. And but then we have the Queen of Cups over here, who she's cool, calm, and collected. You know, she understands things. She knows how to deal with this, and she's processing it well. So we're going to have to use, well, of course, the Tarot of the Abyss to dive into this message a little deeper, to pull some more information out, and try to understand what's going on here, because I do see some conflict. Okay, so we're going to split, and I'm going to take this time to remind you guys to like the video. And of course, I post videos every week, and if you want to subscribe, that would be great. Also, my favorite is to leave a comment. I do enjoy getting feedback, hearing if this helped at all, if this is resonating with you, if you like my cards. I love tarot cards, and 78 pieces of artwork is what each of these deck means to me. And I love the stories that they tell, and I love to read these stories. So so it warms my heart when people when people can appreciate the decks as much as I do. Okay. All right, let's see what this Eight of Swords has for us, Virgo. So we've got Three of Swords, Page of Cups, and the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so Three of Swords is air energy, Page of Cups is earth of water, and the Knight of Cups is fire of water. So this deck has two cards for the Three of Swords. The one is the typical RWS, in which it's the heart, stabbed. But this one speaks of knowledge, the acclamation, or the acquiring of knowledge, the building upon things, the bringing that knowledge into the self and integrating it, as we see with this book. And the letters and all the birds and the air information is being transferred into his mind. And so this is a card of deep understanding of the situation. And then we've got the Page of Cups here, and the page is he's our youngest of the court cards, and he always talks about this card speaks of curiosity, of understanding as well. So these two really go hand in hand, I would say. And so the feeling that I get here also with the Knight of Cups is that you are really trying to understand what is going on here with this situation. You're really trying to look at it in many ways possible, to kind of wrap your head around it. You're not jumping into this situation, and you're not taking any action upon it. And I believe what this Eight of Swords is I believe you might be taking ownership for what it is that you're doing. And you're trying to understand on a deeper level how this could have happened and how it could have been prevented, and possibly if it can be rectified. But what I'm getting more is that this is a deep lesson learned from you. And I feel like perhaps maybe you've been doing some shadow work, Virgo, in which you are no longer acting in a way that you're no longer putting your emotions first, right? You're no longer acting right off the cuff. You're thinking to yourself how, like I said, you're thinking of it in ways that you can learn from it, in ways that you can make things better, and you're not acting impulsively. And that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here, especially with this Knight of Cups in reverse. The Knight leads with his heart. He acts with his heart. But sometimes our heart can get very emotional. We can think at one point that that's the right thing to do, but then we act on it, and our emotional reaction to it may not be the best reaction, because our emotions are so tied into it. We didn't have enough swords energy going into that decision of action. We didn't have enough of our cerebral information going in there. We kind of acted impulsively, and so with this, I feel like you kind of held back a little bit, and instead of acting on an emotional level, which I think is your normal for how you are usually acting, how you've acted in the past. But with the shadow work, or perhaps the self-work that you've been doing, you're able to look at it from a bird's eye view and say, okay, wait a minute, I'm not going to act this way because this is the way I've acted in the past and it has not brought me good results. So I'm going to take a step back, in which I don't see that you've acted yet, which is good. I don't see any kind of action. I see you just thinking about it. I see you waiting, kind of see how things pan out, and letting the emotion kind of die down before you dive in there. And that's what this Page of Cups is. You know, he's very curious. He wants to understand everything. He wants to know everything, and understand it at a deep level. So, whereas the Knight is he's just ready to go. Okay, let's get a read here on this Five of Cups. Understand what's going on with this situation. We've got a Six of Swords, air energy. We've got the Awakening, which is Judgment in reverse, major arcana. And then another Queen of Cups. So we've got the Queen of Cups showing up twice here. And this is very indicative of the work that you've been doing on yourself, and it's kind of confirming that while you have this heartbreak issue, this situation, this emotionally charged issue, you're looking at it in a way of understanding. You're looking at it in a way of not doing things impulsively, of not doing things how you normally would have done them. Then we have here, this card. I'm kind of tongue-tied here. I've got a lot of things. My brain is just working a lot faster than my mouth is moving. So we've got the reverse Judgment, Awakening, okay? And this card is a card of taking stock, a card of understanding, or not understand, well, a little bit, okay? A card of just looking at everything that you've done and everything that you're doing, and is that in line with how you see yourself? Is that in line with how you want your life to go? Is that in line with how you want to be as a person? And with it being in reverse, I do, and also with the Six of Swords here, I feel like you are kind of seeking refuge, right? I feel like you, in the past, you haven't been quite this person who has, what is the word I'm looking for? That where you take ownership for what you're doing. And so you kind of, you've gone to great lengths in trying to place the blame in others. However, I do see that is changing here. I see that you've become this person where you're more understanding, you're more empathetic, and you're more willing to see the other person's point of view, to see and understand the other person's point of view. So, and I think this upset here is from past, it's from situations that have been created in the past, right? It's because the way you've acted in the past, and this situation has arisen from things that have gone on in the past. It's almost like it's the karma type thing. It's everything that you've built up in the past, good or bad, and now the wheel is turning with that energy, and so now you're experiencing that energy from the past. However, here in the present, now that you've learned and you've gone through, you've done the shadow work, now you are looking at it in a different way. You're no longer acting impulsively. You're not acting in the same way that you've done, and you're kind of taking a step back, and you're looking at it from a Queen of Cups point of view, in which you're empathic, you're intuitive, you're understanding, you're patient, and you're kind of just like letting things be. Instead of trying to force the situation, you're allowing it to kind of play out. So let's get a read here on this Queen of Cups and see what she has for you, Virgo. So we've got Major Arcana energy, the Hermit in reverse. That's your card, Virgo. Ooh, then we have Temperance upright. Well, this is great. Happy to see that. Another Major Arcana. And then we've got the Nine of Swords in reverse. Okay, so air energy. I'm actually pretty happy to see these two cards here. And the Hermit being in reverse is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do see that what has happened is that you have gone and done this internal work that you've needed to do, and it's time for you to emerge from that cave that you've been in and start showing the people your new tools, your new self. And here with the Temperance, I'm showing that there's a great internal balance within yourself. You know, this card is kind of like the Justice card in a way, and that they're both balancing, but where the Justice card is an external type of balance, you know, balance between others, balancing your external life in the physical life. The Temperance card is more of an internal type balance. It's more of a personal type thing, you know, and it can be external, you know, maybe you're overeating or eating too much potato chip versus carrots. But it's more of that internal balance where you have that good yin and yang balance. You have that good, you just have an overall equilibrium, and you know, everything is built upon equilibrium. So and so I see that you've become this new balanced person, and while you've been in this hermit mode for a while, it's time for you to come out. It's time for you to show the world what you have. And then we have the reverse Nine of Swords here, which is air energy. And you know, sometimes this is actually for RWS, the Nightmare card, but I'm not reading this as the Nightmare card for you. But maybe being that this is the stopping of those nightmares, of that mental torment that we have within our mind. And so it's interesting that the very first card, we have the Eight of Swords, and then the very last card here is the Nine of Swords in reverse. And what I do see happening here with this Nine of Swords, in numerology, 9 is sort of like the ending. You kind of have all that you need, you know, you've gone through 1 through 8, and here you're at the 9, and that's sort of like your final step before you step into the 10, which is that new world, as your newfound self, right? And so that's what I'm getting here, is this Nine of Swords is you're not quite ready to step into the 10, but you're gathering you're living in all this new stuff that you've learned, and you're kind of soaking it up. You're not quite ready to move to the 10 yet, because you still need to live in this 9s a little bit. You still need to come out of this hermit energy and start working, and start assimilating with this new knowledge that you've found in your cave, right? And that's what this Temperance is about here. This temperance is basically, you know, evening out all your thoughts, and equaling out them with your actions, right? And so now you have this new way of thinking, this new way of looking at things, and now it's time to kind of put that in action. And the Temperance card is usually, well, here it's depicted as fire and water, and fire is action, water is emotion. So while you have thought about it, and you have this new feelings towards the way that you act and the way that you've been presenting yourself, now it's time to put that in action, right? Now it's time for you to even out this emotional work that you've been doing, and level it out with some fire, level it out with some action, and start going forth with that, with your newfound tool belt, right? Also, too, where was it? Yeah, here, the awakening. This is card number 20, right? And 21 is the world card. And the world is where we come. The world is that card of that new experience, right? Where we have traversed all of the major arcana and we've picked up our wisdom and our experience and all of that. And now we're ready to come into the world as this new person. And so basically it's like a new world for us. And so I see you here, just kind of finishing off your journey, but not quite yet ready to step into that new world. I feel like you still need a little bit more practice in bringing, oh, there's a monarch butterfly. Oh yes, he just flew across the yard, did a U-turn and flew back out. And butterflies are a sign of transformation. You know, they are a showing of coming from a caterpillar to that chrysalis and then coming out as a beautiful being, totally different from what they were before. And also butterflies carry the magic of the ancestors. You know, you see butterflies and dragonflies and you're being visited by the ancestors. And so back to this. So I feel with these two cards here, I'm feeling that you're kind of in that situation, that area of where you're stewing in this newfound way of being, right? And in order for you to step into the 10, I think you need to put a little bit of action with these thoughts and these emotions, these new ways of thinking. And yes, that's what I see here for you, Virgo. Okay, so now we're going to pull a card from Work Your Light. And this was the first oracle deck that I bought. When I wanted to get into tarot, I told a friend about it, and she bought me a deck. She said that she had read, or I don't know, that your first deck is supposed to be gifted to you. You're not supposed to buy it. And she told me that, and I was like, oh no, how am I supposed to get a deck? And it turned out she didn't give me a tarot deck. She gave me an oracle deck. And it was, we both enjoyed crystals. And we would go to Mallett's, which is here in Old Town Spring, here in Houston. And we would, just shop together and just do stuff and have fun, whatever. So she got me a deck an oracle deck that was crystal based. And this was she gave me that deck. And this was the actual very first oracle deck I bought for myself. A little bit of history there for you, Virgo. And then I ended up buying my own tarot deck because the oracle deck wasn't tarot, obviously. So I broke rule number 1. Actually, that would be rule number 2. Rule number 1 is there are no rules. So especially in regards to tarot, I feel every reader has a different style, different interpretation. And, we all put our own intuition, our own experiences, wisdom into reading the cards. And that's why you resonate with some readers and some readers you just don't. Some people like the way that traditional readers read, and some people like other interpretations. Like I think some people would just die to see a 3 of Swords like this, when you're so used to seeing that iconic 3 swords in the heart. But, for me, this intuitively works better for me because 3s in numerology are about creation, the 1 and 2 coming together and creating this third energy. And so I feel like this works better for me, but the 3 of heart, the 3 of swords does have a meaning. It's with astrology, and it's the way the deacons are worked. I can't really talk on that, but I do know that it's a combination of a planet in a sign, and that's how Mr. Waite decided that that was going to be the interpretation of the Three of Swords. Okay, anyhow, let me go and pull your card that you have been waiting for, Virgo. So you have the ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. Okay, so this is the artwork, and it's like a combination of photographs. Well, I guess it's just like a collage of photographs. Okay, let's see. So this book, oh, I opened to it. All right. The challenge of life is to keep your heart open when you most want to close it, to let life crack you open, to open through hurt and loss, to allow what is falling to fall away. Being human is a courageous act. A life well lived is full of losses, tragedies, and as much as triumphs and adventures. Wherever you find yourself at the moment, life is coaxing you to keep your heart open, no matter how much it hurts, to continually unfold, to let life crack you open. Perhaps you're going through a difficult time right now. Instead of cursing the difficulty, see it as a blessing. Instead of cursing the difficulties, see it as a blessing. I read that twice. To open yourself up to the truth that perhaps as hard as it may be, life is happening for you, not to you. And one day in the not too distant future, you may just bless the thing that broke you down, cracked you open, because the world needs you to open. Now is the time to go gently, to treat yourself like a tender, sweet baby, to wrap yourself in a blanket and trust that the mother has cradled you in her arms. The seas may not all be smooth sailing, but you are safe and you are held. One day, not too far from today, you will look back at the transformation and be blown away by the poetry of life. Everything is going to be okay. All right, so that I think is good. You know, you might be feeling this deep sadness, this deep heartbreak from your current situation. However, I do see that you have been working through this. If not, perhaps it is time for you to work through this. So I feel the need to say that while maybe you haven't quite gotten to the part where you're this queen of cups just yet, perhaps maybe you're still kind of working through it and trying to understand. Maybe you're still kind of over here. But I do see if you continue to work and try to understand using this Three of Swords energy, I think that that you will get there. You'll get there. You'll become this queen of cups that you so desire, and just be that understanding and compassionate person that you're destined to be. So with that being said, Virgo, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next video. Take care.